Hello and welcome to National Focus. I'm your presenter, Jarna Hector. Thanks for joining us. Topping the headlines, health professionals suggest re-examination of the nurses' recruitment process, chronic care model project to begin in July, and the World Bank approves National Climate Change Resilience Strategy initiated by government. All these stories and more when National Focus returns.
Hello, I am Bishop Gabriel Malzer, Bishop of Roseau, and I am Dominica. Are you?
Welcome back. Time now for the details of the news. Dominica on Thursday, May 17th, as part of the International Telecommunication Union, celebrated World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, WTISD. Minister for Information and Telecommunications, Honorable Ambrose George, in his address to the nation on Thursday, described the founding of WTISD.
World Telecommunication Day has been celebrated annually on the 17th of May since 1969, marking the founding of the International Telecommunications Union, ITU, and the signing of the first International Telegraph Convention in 1865. In order to bring into focus the importance of ICT and the wide range of issues related to the information society, in November 2005, the World Summit on the Information Society called upon the United Nations General Assembly to declare the 17th of May as World Information and Society Day. Since then, we commemorate a combined World Telecommunications and Information Society Day. The Commonwealth of Dominica, as a member of the ITU, joins in solidarity with the rest of the world in celebrating such an auspicious day, a day that holds significance not only in its historical context, but one that celebrates the successes and benefits of telecommunications and ICT in our socio-economic and cultural development, and through stimulating dialogue, consultation, and discussion, provides a platform for envisaging the vision of sustainable development through ICT in an eco-friendly world.
The minister said that the purpose of WTISD is to raise awareness of the possibilities of the Internet and other information and communication technologies, ICT. Minister George further mentioned that the theme for this year's commemoration is Women and Girls in ICT. He explains why.
The theme for this year's commemoration, Women and Girls in ICT, aims to ensure that women and girls here in Dominica and the world over can progress as equals and can succeed as equals. This year's theme is on the heels of celebrating Girls in ICT Day on the 26th of April this year, and from here on annually on the 4th Thursday of April. In my address on that day, I highlighted the dearth of professional women in ICT and the need to enthuse and encourage our girls into avenues of ICT training in various fields that are necessary for development. Moreover, this fits into Dominica's wider international embrace that gender equality is a basic human right enshrined in the United Nations Charter, and it is one of the main objectives of the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, the MDGs. Goal 3, promote gender equality and empower women.
Honorable George concluded his address by emphasizing that ICT has saturated every career, and it would be wise for Dominicans, including females, to adapt, improvise, overcome, and succeed in order to become more resourceful and useful to the Dominica economy. The campaign continues by the current administration to seek support for the candidacy of Dominican Dr. Carissa Etienne to hold the position of director at the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO. Health Minister Honorable Julius Timothy and Chief Medical Officer David Johnson leave the island on Friday to attend the World Health Assembly meeting in Geneva, where they will continue to seek support for the Dominican health professional. The event is held every year ahead of the PAHO meeting, which will be held in September. The week-long meeting, which begins on Monday, will be held one day after the Commonwealth Ministers for Health meeting in Geneva.
Dr. Etienne, as you know, is eminently qualified for the post. She used to be a deputy at PAHO once. She's now a deputy at World Health Organization in Geneva. And so at that meeting, we intend to have a special function for Dr. Etienne there. We will invite all the health ministers from all the PAHO member states, and we will present Dr. Etienne to them. So that I think a lot of them know of Dr. Etienne, but they have not seen her.
The health minister told GIS News that Dr. Etienne is well qualified for the position.
She has been chief medical officer here. She has been head of the primary health care unit in Dominica, and she was the one who primarily piloted the primary health care program of Dominica and made us #1 in the region. So, as I said, she's eminently qualified for the position.
The Roosevelt-Skerrit administration has rallied support for Dr. Etienne on a regional level.
The CARICOM heads met, and here the CARICOM heads all decided to endorse Dr. Etienne. But whereas the heads have endorsed, but it's the ministers for health who vote. We do not have records of the ministers for health in the region going against their head's decision, but at the same time, they must know who and what they're voting for, and we're going to use that opportunity to present her to them. We also have the commitments from most of the ALBA members, so we expect that Dr. Etienne will be elected come September to the post. But notwithstanding that, we still have to do the work.
In other news, the National Resilience Strategy initiated by government to reduce the effect of climate change on the island's economy has been approved by the World Bank. Minister for the Environment, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Daru, in an interview with GIS News on Wednesday, explained that a significant amount of finances will be made available by the World Bank to fund a variety of projects designed to combat the effects of climate change.
What does this mean for Dominica? What it means is that in the next, I think in June, we will have a, first of all, we as a country, we're going to have to set up what they call a project management unit, where we're going to employ some people, consultants, and also, of course, other clerical staff to really manage this fund. And in the next month or so, we're expecting officials from the World Bank to come to Dominica to do what they call project identification, because within this strategy, this climate resilience strategy, we identified a number of what they call a number of priority areas. Among them, of course, agriculture and food security. We, of course, would appreciate the effect of climate change on the agricultural sector. We remember the drought, I think, of 2010, if I recall, where we went without water, without rain for a long period, and of course the subsequent effect on the agricultural sector. Fisheries has been another area identified as a priority area, the tourism sector, and of course much needed infrastructure. We'll appreciate the damage done to our coastal roads during heavy storms, etc. We also identified, I said, tourism and water resource management as and also disaster management as some of the priority areas. So of course this World Bank team will be here next month. They'll be working in collaboration, of course, with my ministry, the Ministry of Finance, as the focal point in identifying the different projects. In the first instance, we seek to benefit somewhere in the region of maybe close to 20 million EC dollars as a first instance, but the strategy that we presented has been adopted and endorsed by a number of other international partners. So in the long run, we're looking at probably raising somewhere in the region of $200 million in the next 2 or 3 years towards climate change projects in Dominica.
The minister says the changes in climatic conditions over the years have negatively impacted countries across the globe, and Dominica is no exception.
Over the past couple of years, we would have noticed the erratic weather patterns, flooding in the traditional dry season, droughts in the traditional wet season, etc. We will also have noticed some freak storms. We realize we also recall the damage done to the west coast of the island sometime last year. Now all of these erratic weather patterns can be attributed to climate change.
New strategies will be employed by the aid bank to reduce the number of delinquent loans. That's according to newly appointed chairman of the aid bank, Martin Charles. Charles, who took up his official appointment last month, says the bank has a mandate to be a catalyst and leader in financing investment in Dominica. Mr. Charles says these developments will be compromised if funds owed to the bank are not repaid.
Over the years, Aid Bank has informed the general public that there are persons who have borrowed money from Aid Bank. They are in a position to pay, but yet still they are not paying their loans. And as a result, our non-performing portfolio rose to a substantial amount that we ourselves had put some strategies in place to trying to reduce the level of that non-performing portfolio.
At the end of the last financial year, 2010-2011, loans in the non-performing category totaled 19.91 million EC dollars. The newly appointed chairman of the aid bank says strategies have been and will continue to be implemented by the bank to reduce this trend.
Our 5-year strategic plan makes reference and addresses the non-performing portfolio. And if you could see from our last financial report, we were able to reduce that portfolio significantly because of the strategies that we have put in place to dealing with our non-performing portfolio. We are not totally satisfied with where we are right now. We believe that much more can be done and much more will be done. And all I'm asking for is for those persons who are delinquent, I put them in probably 2 categories. There are some persons who can pay and won't pay. There are some people that just can't pay because of other circumstances. Those persons who are able to pay, I'm asking them to make good on their promise to pay Aid Bank its monies.
Mr. Charles told GIS News that non-payment of loans will affect the bank's ability to finance projects in the productive sector. This sector is instrumental in sustaining investments, creating jobs, and increasing foreign exchange earnings. An 18-month project to strengthen Dominica's capability to care for patients suffering from chronic non-communicable diseases has officially begun. The Chronic Care Model Project is being supported by the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO. Advisor on chronic disease and mental health at PAHO, Dr. Tomo Kanda, has been contracted to work with the Ministry of Health on this project. On Wednesday, Dr. Kanda held a workshop with a number of healthcare providers where she imparted valuable information regarding caring for people with CNCDs. Dr. Kanda is proposing that a multi-sectoral approach be adopted to effectively deal with CNCDs. Based on meetings held with various sectors in Dominica, the PAHO advisor is encouraged that this can be realized.
One of the key strategy we would like to encourage country is whole of society, multi-sectoral approach. This is very important. Prevention control of NCD is not health sector's business. Rather, we have to tackle as a whole of society. 2 days ago, I think yesterday, the afternoon, we had a very good meeting, about 20 people coming from different NGO, civil society. They are very much willing to be a important part of partnership to tackle NCD prevention and control. We established NGO network yesterday. So hopefully Dominica is a country which can show whole of society multi-sectoral approach to really combat NCD prevention and control.
Dr. Kanda says health professionals will be sufficiently trained to effectively implement the chronic care project in Dominica. She's advocating that once professionals are trained, there will be a commitment by all to ensure that the program is sustained.
Dominica is going to start Caribbean project on improving quality of care for next 18 months period. This is not the capacity training for health professional. We are looking for one step further, which is once we train health professional, but if there is no system in place, there is no sustainability. One way we will train health professional by providing capacity training, but also we would like to have a high political commitment, which is from Minister of Health, Primary Health Permanent Secretary, Chief Medical Officer, and Director of Primary Health Care, to really improve the system, delivering system. This is the purpose, capacity training and system improvement.
PAHO supports Caribbean countries by providing technical cooperation for improving the quality of care for patients with chronic diseases. As part of the project last year, PAHO supported 5 Caribbean countries. Although the project is underway in Dominica, the actual implementation is expected in July 2012. Recruiters of nurses on the island have been asked to re-examine the recruitment process so as to attract the best people into the nursing profession. Former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Jean Jacob, told a recent panel discussion organized by the Dominican Nurses Association that attracting and recruiting the best people into nursing is important to maintain and drive forward high-quality healthcare services in Dominica.
Nursing is not just a job. It is more than a job. If you come from a home where you never cared for anybody, at the age of 16 you're going into nursing, there's no cut-off point. If you're 16 years and you have the requirements and you want to go into nursing, by the time you're 18, 19 years, you are a nurse. And you expect to care for people. You have never done that. You have never been exposed to that. How are you going to care? What kind of attitude? You talk about attitude. What kind of attitude are we bringing into the profession? So I think as trainers, as a learning institution, we have to examine what we do, how we bring in or how we recruit persons into the profession.
The retired health official is suggesting that proper standards be set in order to early identify weaknesses in prospective nurses.
I know that there is a pre-nursing program. What is the purpose of the pre-nursing program? What is it supposed to do? Is it only to, if at the end you do not, academically you do not perform that, you can be weeded out? Do we look at behaviors? Do we look at attitudes during that period to determine whether these are persons who should be in the profession? People learn late, but you can within a year determine whether that person is a suitable candidate for the nursing profession. If you yourself have set the standards and you know what the standards are, you can already identify weaknesses in the students to come into the profession. So I think when we take in students into the profession and then we complain after, it's like after the fact.
Ms. Jean Jacob is also recommending that a cadre of professionals be identified to assist in the development of Dominica's nursing service.
I think that nurses should know who their trailblazers were. Who were the ones who set the pace that they are reaping from? Because they were trailblazers before us. And you couldn't ask someone in my time about Sister Baptist, and you know who Sister Baptist was, or Matron Dorival, or Sister Dubic, and the likes. Because these were the mentors, these were the persons you looked up to. And I would suggest that the Nurses Association take a view. Because when a batch of nurses come in, is there a way that you can get, probably the retired nurses who worked in the community, who built up the community system, together to have a dialogue as we're having, so that they can share their experiences, share their difficulties, share with the younger, so you have a face-to-face contact, so they know who the people are, who were the people in the system who helped to build the system.
And that's the English segment of the news. We now join McPherson St. Luce for the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, Banque la Tech a fait provision l'argent pour la Dominique, dépenser médication bagaille qui affecte le changement climatique en pays là. Parole celle-là sortie au ministère environ, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow. Honorable Darrow était chef de délégation Dominique, qui était en Washington, où la proposition Dominique est présentée et puis tapé succès.
Dominique présenté la terre avec Dominique, ça nous a créé Climate Resilient Development Strategy. Avec cette stratégie, ça a nous identifié différents bagages à Dominique. qui une priorité qui a affecté qui climate change qui a affecté. Now Dominique c'est un petit pays où on l'a en the Caribbean là qui World Bank là avait climate investment choisi pour ça nous avons un PPCR pilot project for climate resilience. Avec ça PPCR project ça qu'a essayé faire c'est pour voir comment nous ça taper l'argent pour aider nous à le développement national nous qu'a fait. Et nous comme on dit nous identifier différentes places comme agriculture because nous savons tout nous qu'a changé nous qu'a ouais ça qui a fait c'est juste ça nous qu'a ni la pluie là avant nous te ni dry season nous qu'a ni drought là avant nous te ni wet season so ça nous qu'a expérience ces effets climate change en Dominique nous ne peut taper manière pour nous combattre ça nous toujours te attendre contre valer l'argent qui dehors pour climate change so finalement après tout travail qu'a préparé nous avons une bonne nouvelle semaine passée team Horda Ministry sorti Washington pour présenter même stratégie ça pour Climate Investment Fund ça c'est organisation qui travaille avec World Bank là pour dispenser l'argent et bonne nouvelle là c'est stratégie ça c'était approuvé so dans l'autre mois comme ça nous allons c'est officiel World Bank là fini ici parler avec officiel ministry ça là ministry finance pour identifier ces différents projets qui nous mentionnaient dans stratégie ça là.
Honorable Darrow dit finalement Dominique Katapikoy a dans une bonne position combattre le changement climatique.
C'est petit état à commencement, ok, mais bonne nouvelle là, c'est nous avons commencé à benefit de l'argent qui est dehors pour climate change. Because comme on dit, le gouvernement a spend un partie de l'argent tous les années qu'a nettoyer après storm, après hurricane, la rivière descend, finalement la mer levée, because en partie chimène nous c'est la coastal region, et toute l'argent ça nous capons pour manger la c'est dans ça fait ça c'est l'argent nous ça servi pour faire développement neuf so finalement comme on dit nous comment nous ça bénéficie contre tout l'argent ça qui dehors.
À notre nouvelle, le ministre santé a mis mise en place pour adresser CNCDs en Dominique. Ça c'est maladie comme Pisado et maladie comme ça. Organisation PARO qui a fait provision technique à une manière pour ces programmes cela. Il y a un officier PARO, Dr. Tomo Kando, en Dominique pour 18 mois, qui a assisté le ministre santé et puis programme cela. Quand même si l'on permanent secrétaire ministre santé Helen Royer, ça fait qu'à concerner CNCDs en Dominique, à concerner le ministre là autant, et puis musique a mis en place pour adresser.
Ça est venu faire, c'est pour y parler de un special project. Ça c'est un projet pour pour occuper moun qui ni CNCDs comme diabetes, high blood pressure, moun qui tape stroke bagay comme ça. Et puis projet ça là ça son projet qui ni différents components. Mais ça nous toujours fait bagay pour CNCD Dominique. Nous savons health promotion toujours qu'à parler contre CNCD nous pas chat bagay nous ka fait mais ça nous ka dit c'est nous ni pour aller ti bon plus gwa puisque d'autres pays yo ka fait chronic project là yo déjà commencé mais Dominique pas côté commencé so il joint depuis chef health promotion ça c'est Mrs. Antilia James qui c'est coordination pour conférence ça et puis ça yo ka fait c'est ani commencer initiate problème pour nous ka yon 6 heures et puis yo de ka discuter yo joindre différents monde health professionnel et puis yo de ka di yo contre project là.
Finalement gouvernement Dominique a continué travail mener bon système d'eau potable tout en pays là. Parole cela sorti du ministère management de l'eau honorable Reginald Austri. Honorable Austri fait parole cela pendant une délégation ministre là a visité projet de l'eau tank à Monbruce.
Gouvernement là Barros Scarrett a fait un effort pour faire certain que nous élever standard of living monde Dominique et développement moi déjà dit c'est pas chimère avec pont avec gaz monde même on pour investir monde pour développer monde comme ça ba comme glow comme éducation yes we care tous ces programmes ça là ça pour nous taper boss pour les enfants à l'école pour nous faire college pour tout le monde à l'école tout ça c'est investment malgré ou pas taper un direct l'argent pour des profits à dime mais ça il a fait pour mon il a élevé pays élevé mon avec a faire certain qui ou même qu'on pays ça lever assis en l'autre état c'est ça qui fait que nous continue pour investir en glo et même si d'Awasco même pas qu'à faire l'argent en glo là OK, mais nous que taper l'argent là pour nous badawasko pour dawasko continuer mettre glo tout monde Dominique pour moun ça vivre en primaire la vie.
Messieurs mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Au revoir.
When we come back, we'll bring you the upcoming events and government notices. Please stay tuned.
Let your spirit take to flight. Let your heart run free, wild. Find your soul in Dominica, the nature isle.
The Ministry of Information, Telecommunications and Constituency Empowerment invites applications from suitably qualified candidates to fill the position of Information Officer at the Government Information Service. The core functions of the position include collecting information from various government departments to keep the public informed of important current events, preparing radio-television programs in both English and local dialect, assisting with the removal of still photograph, video camera operation and editing of television programs. Qualifications required: a bachelor's degree, diploma, or certificate in mass communication or in any other related field from an accredited university. Applicants must have a minimum of 1 year experience. Experience in carrying out research and excellent oral and written communication and interpersonal skills would also be an added advantage. The ability to correctly interpret and reproduce ideas expressed in conversation and written form, and the ability to speak the Creole language is also required. Applications, including only certified copies of professional certificates, detailed curriculum vitae, and 2 letters of reference, should be submitted to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Telecommunications and Constituency Empowerment, Government Headquarters, Roseau, Commonwealth of Dominica, in sealed envelopes marked confidential to reach no later than Thursday, May 31, 2012. Additional information can be obtained from the Ministry at telephone number 767-266-3294 or 266-3507. Interested public officers should apply through their heads of departments. Please note, only shortlisted candidates will be acknowledged. Effective May 5, 2012, the Portsmouth Plant Quarantine Office was relocated to the former Wibdeco Weighbridge at Longhouse. Please be guided accordingly. Applications are invited from suitably qualified persons for contractual appointment in the post of Solicitor General in the Ministry of Tourism and Legal Affairs. Duties include giving legal advice and preparing legal documents, representing government in legal proceedings, and training junior lawyers. Qualifications include a master's degree in law or legal education from a recognized university and certificate in legal education and at least 2 years experience in the legal field. The successful candidate will be contracted for a period of 2 years in the first instance. Applications, including certified copies of professional certificates, detailed curriculum vitae, and 2 letters of reference, should be submitted on the confidential cover to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Tourism and Legal Affairs, Government Headquarters, Kennedy Avenue, Roseau. Applications should reach the Permanent Secretary on or before May 31st, 2012. Up next is the tip of the day. Shop with a basket and promote your culture. Use less plastic bags and protect the environment. A tip brought to you by the Environmental Health Department in collaboration with the Solid Waste Management Corporation as part of its 3 Hours campaign this week. And that's National Focus. As usual, we invite your suggestions or comments. Please feel free to drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm, or you can visit our website at news.gov.dm, or you could visit our GIS Dominica page on YouTube and Facebook. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Jarna Hector. Thanks for watching.